listening to Reality Wrap. I'm your host, Melanie. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show. Hey guys, thanks for tuning into Reality Wrap. Today we will be recapping last night's episode of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 4, Episode 15. I have Sideshow Sean with me today.
Hey everyone, how you doing? It's Sideshow Sean.
That is hard to say. Sideshow Sean. Am I saying it right? Sideshow Sean.
You're saying it right enough, yeah.
Anyway.
Wait, sorry to interrupt. I have a quick question.
Sure.
To you, what do these numbers mean?
Okay.
7,297, 11,205, 28,802.
The first number was Whitney's selfie count. The second number was Heather's selfie count. And the third set, the 28,000, was Lisa's selfie count.
Excellent.
Which is an insane amount of selfies.
So let's say she's had that phone account for 10 years, okay? 10 years. That's 2,800 photos a year in a 365-day year. There's only 365 days. So you divide that again, it's like 4 or 5 photos a day or something like that.
And it's just selfies. That's not all of her photos.
Every
I guess
day.
I tried to find it.
Sick or healthy.
I tried to find it on my phone. I have an Apple phone, and I couldn't figure out how to do it. So if somebody could tell me how to, send me a message on Instagram because I couldn't figure it out. All right, let's move off of the selfie thing because it's just ridiculous. So it's the next morning. They're still in Bermuda. Lisa has rented a yacht, which is actually turns out to be a catamaran when they show up, which was really cool looking actually. But it's not starting until 11:30, or it's not leaving until 11:30, so they have some time to relax. Heather and Monica go on a walk on the beach. Monica was wearing jeans, which made me very uncomfortable to watch because I was like, she's got to be hot. They're in Bermuda. It's hot there and humid. Imagine walking down the beach with jeans on. I was like, ugh. So Heather apologizes for her behavior the night before on Monica's birthday when she told her to shut the fuck up. Monica tells Heather that she was so thrown by the whole situation. And Heather's like, well, you know, I was already on edge after you had asked me about my daughter's sex life on the bus. And then when you brought it up again at dinner, it was already brewing. And so I just exploded. Monica tells her that she now knows that certain topics are not up for discussion. And so she apologizes and they hug it out. Heather then asks Monica if she thinks that Meredith was the one who sent the DMs to Monica. And Monica's like, no, I don't think she did. I didn't think anybody would ever do that. She's like, well, except for me. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah. First off, I thought it was a good moment between the two ladies. I thought when Monica initially pushed back on the apology, I was like, oh, that's dumb. Then she accepted it, and then they moved on really quick, which I thought that was good. When Monica and Heather started talking about the DMs, initially it seemed pretty innocent, but I watched it a second time today, and I would want to ask you something. Do you think maybe Heather knew exactly what she was doing on the beach, trying to get any kind of information from Monica? Because not but a few hours later on the boat is when she kind of unloads and says, people are telling me blah, 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 blah. And she was literally talking about the conversation she had on the beach that morning. And I was like, boy, that's kind of neat and tidy.
I do feel like she was kind of going back and forth between Monica and Meredith. I don't know if she was trying to figure something out.
I think she was trying to figure something out.
Was she trying to get Monica to say, I think it was Meredith? But Monica held very firm that she never said that. She never said Meredith was the one who sent them. It was all the other ladies who said it was Meredith who sent them.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah. We see Meredith on the phone with Seth, which, can I just mention how clear Meredith's skin is without makeup? Whatever she's doing is like working.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, she's telling Seth about how everybody came after her at dinner the night before and how Lisa was really yelling at her and Heather was not being supportive at all. And she is just trying to figure out who is responsible for what. Seth tells her to not let it bother her. We then see Angie and Whitney go play tennis to get their aggression out. Angie brings up that here we are again, addressing yet another Meredith rumor that she's spreading around about me. Whitney tells her that she couldn't believe how calm Meredith was as everybody was coming for her at dinner, and then how when they got back to the house, she acted like nothing happened, and how Meredith is skirting around taking accountability. And I was like, I don't know. I feel like in Meredith's defense, she did say it wasn't her. And she really couldn't get a word in edgewise because Lisa was like ranting next to her. So was she just going to like scream over Lisa, or is she just going to let Lisa go? And then they were having birthday cake. So, of course, she's going to, like, help celebrate Monica's birthday. I don't think she was skirting around anything. I think she was just celebrating Monica's birthday.
All right. And if you ever want to calm me down, hand me a slice of birthday
have
cake.
some cake,
I'll
right?
calm right the heck down.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Whitney is really trying to drive this home. But she really got on my nerves.
She's trying to stir something up.
She really got on my nerves this episode, so I feel like I'm, like, extra sensitive to her bullshit. Dang. They talk about Heather and how she was freaking out about talking about her sex life. Angie makes the same point I made, that she is probably programmed to think a certain way because she was a Mormon, and that talking about sex was taboo in her religion, and so it's kind of hard to deprogram, which I said when, was it last episode or our last recap, I kind of said the same thing.
Yeah.
Whitney says that it's hypocritical because Heather wrote about how Whitney had invited Heather to take boudoir photos, which, by the way, I could not figure out how to spell that.
How do you spell it?
I'm not even going to tell you how I spell it. I know it's absolutely wrong, but
I spell it Boodeau.
I wrote Budwa, boudoir. Actually, it's like boudoir. Really?
I should spell it like that. Boodwa.
Boudoir.
Boudoir.
I saw somebody spell it correctly on Twitter. I'm like, oh wow, I was way off. Anyway, so she wants
There's a
to
Q
know
somewhere. You know?
I think it was.
Where's that Q? Why is it upside down?
Anyway, and Whitney wants to know why it's okay for her to talk about Whitney's sex life, but not hers. And I'm like, that's not the same thing. She wasn't talking about your sex life. She was talking about how she took photos for you that you asked her to take.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about Whitney is I think she thinks that, like, she's tricking people, right? And she's not tricking anyone, but I don't think she has the faculties to know that, right? She's smart enough to say, I'm going to trick people, but isn't smart enough to know when it's not working.
Yeah,
I think that's her problem.
I don't know what it is.
Because I don't think anyone's buying it at all.
Yeah. So they head out to the catamaran. In the Sprinter van, Monica is shaving her legs, which totally grossed me out because all I could think about was, like, the little hairs when you're dry shaving are just, like, falling onto the van floor.
And you know that's the time when I'm eating a yogurt. And you got leg hairs just spritzing off everywhere.
That's disgusting.
Well, that's my luck. That's what happens to me.
Anyway, so they get on the boat. They have a drink. Meredith goes and sits by herself, and she tells us in her talking head that she feels like everybody is trying to ice her out and that she is on an island.
Meredith is on an island. It's an island called Fake DMs.
Yeah, she is on an island. Although, I don't know, maybe she didn't send them.
Maybe.
Of course, Whitney finds a railing that she can use for her pole dancing skills in front of these guys that are on the boat. And I was like, wow, Whitney. Like, how many times do we have to see you pole dance on this show?
She's a thirsty girl. And I feel bad for Justin. There's a couple reasons I feel bad for him, but we'll wait for the end of the episode, right?
So Heather goes and talks to Meredith about sending the DMs to Monica, and she doesn't understand how Meredith doesn't have a reaction to this whole situation, which, again, I feel like she did kind of have a reaction. She said, I didn't send them. I mean, what do they want from her? Meredith's probably on some good pills or drugs that are keeping her calm. Meredith tells her that she's just trying to process it all. And
so it's not just the birthday cake.
No.
Got it.
Meredith tells her that she's just trying to process it all and says that she didn't send the DMs and that Monica was the one who asked if Angie was in the Greek mafia. And Meredith told her, I don't know. She tells Heather the reason she called Monica about the DMs was because Monica had talked about these rumors that she had heard about Angie on the plane back from Palm Springs. So when she got the DM, she called Monica since it was all about the same stuff that Monica had already told her. Meredith did say this same exact story on Watch What Happens Live. So her story seems to have remained the same. She's not straying from it, which is kind of making me go, maybe I'm starting to believe her a little bit. But she's been very consistent about her story. Heather tells Meredith that she needs to take care of it. I'm like, why, Heather? Why are you telling her?
That seemed a little soprano of her.
I know, you need to take care of it.
You need to take care of it.
I know.
Do it now.
What the fuck?
Are you the mob boss?
Meredith is like, yeah, I need to talk to Monica.
Yeah, it was an interesting moment, yeah.
Yeah, Heather's definitely like being a go-between between Monica and
that's why
Heather.
I was saying before.
I mean, Monica and
at the
Meredith.
beach with Monica, Heather wasn't talking and just apologizing. I think she was softening Monica up to basically do the setup for the afternoon. That's what you need to take care of this. Like she's literally pushing these two together.
Yeah.
To have
a conversation in front of everybody.
Or whatever they're gonna have.
Or on camera or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So they anchor at an island, I think it was called Long Island.
It was.
Yeah, and they're served lunch. Meredith asks Monica if she can talk to her, and so they go sit down. She's like, how has this now turned into me saying that Angie was in the mafia and that I'm the one who sent the DMs? And Monica's like, I never flat out said that you sent me the DMs. That was everybody else, which as we've seen so far, we have not seen Monica say, Meredith sent me these DMs. Monica says, we were both Googling Greek mafia in Utah. And Meredith's like, right, but that had nothing to do with Angie. And Monica says, we were talking about Angie at the time and wondering how she pays her bills when she's so broke and yada, yada, yada. Meredith tells Monica, those were all things that you told me. At this point, Lisa stands up and tells Meredith to stop lying. Stop lying, Meredith, and just admit that you fucked up. Heather then asks Lisa, why does Monica get a pass? Because she was saying the same things. And Lisa's like, she doesn't get a pass, but at least she's admitting it. So why was Heather trying to pull Monica in?
Again, I think this all started, see what I'm saying now? Heather on the beach said, I'm going to start some shit. Yeah. And she did.
She's coming for Monica. Mm-hmm. It's interesting.
So I don't think that was an apology at all. And I love you, Heather, but I see what's going on now. It was not an apology. I think it might have been an apology that needed to lead to
a conversation.
Exactly.
It was a reason to get her on the beach to talk.
Get some, and make her comfortable to talk to.
Yeah.
Because she had just apologized and she's being so nice and sweet to her.
Angie now gets involved and says, I own the streets of Salt Lake City because I'm a reputable businesswoman. I was like,
I'm going to pull the soprano card again. I own the streets of, really? No one, okay. This is outrageous.
Anyway, I didn't even know, she owned the streets either.
Do hair salons own streets?
I don't know. It was such a ridiculous thing to say. Okay. Whitney piles on and says...
It's hair salons, right? That's all it is. There's nothing else?
I think so.
Like they don't have other businesses?
I don't know.
Like garbage collector or anything like that? I don't know.
She in waste management.
Yeah, waste management. Water treatment? Any water treatment issues?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Recycling? Any recycling?
Yeah. No, I don't think so. I think she just does...
Just
hair
the
salons.
hair.
I think they own multiple hair salons.
Just the hair.
Honestly, I have no idea. Anyways, then Whitney piles on and says that she also believes Monica because she participated with Meredith last year with the rumors and the gossip, and now she sees a pattern forming with Meredith. Meredith gets pissed finally. She finally gives them a reaction, which they've all been waiting for, and she's like, now I'm getting mad. Everybody is narrating me. I don't know what she meant by that.
Stop narrating me. Yeah. I'm sorry, Meredith. That was me.
Whitney tells her to just own it, and Meredith gets pissed and walks off. Lisa's like, let's go have fun. So Whitney takes off her hair extensions, and Angie picks them up and ties them onto her dress or onto her cover-up and is hula dancing with Whitney's extensions. So we see Monica and Whitney go swimming. Whitney comes back from the water and proceeds to hose off her crotch once again in front of the guy on the boat. So she was trying to do some pole dancing in front of this guy. Now she's hosing her crotch off in front of this guy.
That was thirsty. See, when you're thirsty, though, the water's supposed to go in your mouth, not in your crotch.
Yeah, right. Go. Meredith comes and sits by Angie and tells her, I am not out to get you. The reason I asked Monica if she received a DM was because Monica had already mentioned the things to me that were in the DM. She then tells Angie that when her and Angie are together, Angie's always screaming at her, and she hopes that they can have a reset because she's not out to get Angie. Angie thanks her and says, that's all I really wanted from you. Meredith then goes over to Lisa and Heather and tells her that her and Angie finally spoke and that Angie is going to take a hit out on her. So she's trying to be funny. So they get off the boat and they get back onto the Sprinter van. Meredith goes and sits next to Lisa and she's slur whispering to Lisa. She's like, I got something to tell you. She tells Lisa that Brooks just signed with the Ford agency, and Monica's like watching this interaction, and she is perplexed on how Lisa and Meredith can go from screaming at each other on the boat to now taking selfies on the boat, which I'm like, I don't know. I feel like they've kind of always done that to each other. They get mad and then they're friends again. So
I think guys have guy code, girls have girl code, and part of girl code is kids are above board. She had news about her kid. We're going to pause whatever we have. We're going to talk about this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to celebrate it. I know a lot of ladies, and you guys seem to have that in your girl code with kids are above board.
Yeah.
Even above arguments. You'll be like, all right, tell me your news.
I think that's also
it's all
their dynamic. I mean,
yeah, they've been friends for 20 years or something like that?
I don't know how long. They've been friends for a while.
A long time.
I think they were friends when they were on the
Before the show
first started. Yeah, but the show's only 4 or 5 years old, so. We then get to hear Whitney. She's talking about how she has enjoyed sleeping alone here, and then she shares that Justin has a really good nose for going down on her. And if any man wants a lesson on how to use the nose, you can ask her. I was like, what? Whitney then asks Heather if she's ever had anybody go down nicely for her. And Heather's like, you know what my boundaries are, and I am not going to talk about that. And then she says, you and Monica can talk about eating ass all day. And both Whitney and Monica say, we haven't talked about that. And then in her talking head, Whitney says that Heather is shaming her again instead of empowering her. Or maybe she doesn't want to hear about your sexcapades with Justin. I don't want to hear about how he's good with his nose down there. Like, what the fuck?
First off, please don't talk about my nose like that around your friends.
I would never.
Thank you.
Never.
Yeah, because it can go two ways. I can get just as mean and nasty. I'm just
so
kidding.
gross.
I'm kidding. It was nasty.
I don't want to hear it.
But I will say, Heather in the last couple episodes seems like a bit of a prude. And she's getting angry about it. Like, she's getting very defensive about it. Not very, but she seems like she's getting more and more defensive. We'll see in the next episode if it continues. I wonder if frustration does that to a person to some degree. I think she's
sexual frustration?
Thank you for saying what I was thinking. Think about it like this. She is an attractive woman. She is a successful woman. She's a charismatic woman, but she's not knocking boots.
Well, that we know.
Oh, but let's say hypothetically she's not.
Right.
So if she's not knocking boots, what does that do to a person's confidence, right? And so now people are like, you getting any? So now I have to, not only am I not feeling good about myself, now I got to deal with your nonsense. And because she's in a double-edged sword now, because it has been probably weeks or months, to your point the other day.
Or years.
You said it, not me.
I don't know.
But if she does say, hey, look, no, I had it 24 hours ago, all the girls are going to want to know who.
Right. I said that last week.
And that kind of has her in this trap.
If she lies and says, yes, I did, or even if she's not lying,
or she's
they're
just
going to want to
doing
know.
one-night stands. I mean, she's kind of trapped in the sense that whatever she's doing, they want to know.
She's damned if she does, and she's damned if she doesn't.
Yep, and there will be judgment.
Well, I don't think any of them would judge her.
Okay.
So they get back to the house, and they go get ready for dinner. Monica's in her room with the glam person, and Whitney comes in to get her makeup done. Monica tells her that she felt like she was on another planet when they were on the bus. She thinks that Meredith has realized that she is not going to do what she wants her to do anymore, so she has gone back to Lisa and has now made her a piece of shit, which I don't know. Why did she say she's made her a piece of shit? We haven't seen Meredith treat her like a piece of shit, have we?
No.
Yeah, I don't know what she's talking about. She thinks that Meredith is trying to do damage control and trying to get back onto everybody's good side. And Whitney tells her, you know, I believe you and we're going to get to the bottom of it. I was like, you do that, Nancy Drew. So they head out to the restaurant. They sit down and they're all taking selfies of themselves, which was so ridiculous. We find out that these ladies like to take a lot of selfies of themselves, but of course, Lisa has taken the most. We've already covered this. She's taken 28,802 photos of herself, which I was like, wow, Bethany, wow. That is a lot of time.
Who's Bethany?
Bethany Frankel.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my God, you're so stupid.
I know who she is.
Anyways, that is an insane amount of time taking photos of yourself. And I think she even, what did she say in her talking head? Like
2 terabytes of storage, actually, is what she said she had. That's a
Those
lot.
can't all be of herself, are they? That is like super like next level conceited.
John's a very patient man.
He must be.
Just because he's talking to her.
Well, we've
and
already
I can only
seen
imagine
that, yeah.
how many conversations he's not
like,
talking to her. He's talking to a back of her phone.
Yeah, while she's taking photos
Right.
of herself.
Exactly.
Oh my God. Anyways, Monica tells them that she's had a headache and that she feels like one side of her face has been feeling weird. And then she jokes that maybe she had a stroke. And Heather tells them about the time that she had gotten Bell's palsy right after her husband had left, and she had 3 young kids under the age of 8.
And again, I thought this was kind of a weird moment where Monica is talking about a current condition she's going through, and Heather was like, let's talk about something that I had years ago.
Well, and then she says, it's all in the book, and Whitney rolls her eyes. Like
Making
she had a reason to bring it up.
Basically, and they should play a game. Let's bring something up and see if it goes back to
the book.
Heather talking
see
about
if Heather channels the conversation to something in her book.
I was like, are you kidding me? She's going through this now.
Yeah.
It's in the book. Let me tell you about the book. You mean the book that you talk about every 5 minutes?
She's proud of her book. Monica asks Meredith if she's crying. She says no. Monica says, let's talk about this because I'm getting a weird energy from you. And Meredith tells her, I'm very upset. And Monica says, well, I am too, because you and Lisa were screaming at each other and then we're fine in the Sprinter van. And here we are and you're not talking to me. Lisa's like, you know, I felt like I went really hard on Meredith today, but it was like a big sister thing where I could tell you to like fuck off and then let's go shopping or something along those lines. And Meredith tells Lisa, yeah, you know, when we reconciled our friendship, I realized that Lisa gets heated and has a meltdown and then she's fine. And this pisses Monica off because she's like, yeah, but you're mad at me. And Meredith's like, well, I'm still mad at her. I'm just letting it go. And Monica's like, well, I would like the same courtesy. We then get Heather asking about when Jack's going on his mission. Lisa says soon, but she feels like being there, she's missing days with him. Whitney then says she feels like they need a redo of last night because it's Monica's birthday. Let's go to the bar.
So I was listening as I was watching Lisa kind of get up, emotional about her son not coming home again. Mm-hmm. I was thinking to myself, man, dads and moms really do think very differently about the kids leaving the nest, right? And that's all I'm going to say. Other than that, it seems like the dads are a little more on the team celebration, and moms are on the
Are
team
you
more.
kidding me right now?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You literally said the other day when our son moves out, well, I wonder where he and I are going to go live. And I was like, well, you're not moving out. He is. And you're like, well, I'm going to go with him or whatever it was that you said.
You had said he needs to get out of here sooner or later. And
I said he's going to move out at some point.
And I said, where will we live?
That's what it was.
Yes. I wanted to genuinely know where we were going to end up if you were
And I was like, what do you mean?
tossing
You're
us
not
into
leaving?
the cold, cold world.
Oh my God.
That's different, though.
Why is it different?
Because we hang out, play video games, do fun stuff.
So it just totally contradicted what you just said.
I'm like the dad in that other show that we loved.
Oh, Family Karma.
Yes.
And he only moved 15 minutes down the road. And he was like, I'm going to miss you.
I hope that show
And the
comes.
mom was like,
I
he
hope
lives
that
15
show-
minutes down the road. Supposedly it
hope
might
it
be
comes
coming
back.
back.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah.
Andy,
That's
make
like-
it happen.
Yeah. I don't think he had anything to do with that show.
Make it happen anyways, Andy.
Anyway, so they go to the bar, which is supposed to be the coolest bar in Bermuda, and they get drinks. They got like some specific drink. I can't remember what it was called.
Alcohol.
No, it was like a shanty? Was that what it was called or something? I don't know. Anyways, Angie asks if they should play a game, and they all get quiet, and Monica's like, no, we're not going to start that shit, which I was totally like, ding. So they start talking about Heather's book and who bought it. Lisa asks Heather how many books she's sold, and I think she said it was like tens of thousands or something like that. And then the lights start to flicker. Whitney tells Heather that she did read the book and that it was hard for her last night, that she told Monica to shut the fuck up for asking about her sex life, but she wrote about Whitney's sex life in her book.
So when the lights flicker, they just kept flickering. I was like, uh-oh. I thought it was foreshadowing. Then crazy happens.
Yeah, that was...
And just crazy just kept pushing the sex thing when she invited Heather to photograph her. To your point earlier.
Yes. Heather's like, I wrote a funny anecdote about how you hired me to take bedroom shots of you. And Heather tells us in her talking head that she wrote in her book about how she used to be a boudoir photographer. And Whitney asked her to take photos of her. She wasn't writing about Whitney's sex life. Heather then tells Whitney that she knew what she was putting in the book and she was fine with it. And that there was actually something that she asked Heather to remove and she removed it. So Whitney was like fully aware of what was in the book.
Yeah.
So wherever this came from, I mean, this was clearly a setup.
Remember what I said in the middle of our little episode today. Whitney is smart enough to try to trick people, but maybe not smart enough to know when her tricking isn't working.
Yeah, or
it's not flying. And then
stupid.
I have another question for you. Whose idea was it to not wear panties on the photo shoot?
Yeah, I guess she took them off and flung them. Yeah, I mean,
Whitney's idea, according to Heather at least. It was Whitney's idea.
Yeah.
And when Whitney said it, or when Heather said it, Whitney didn't even challenge it.
No. Whitney tells Heather that she's missing the point and that Heather won't talk about her sexuality, but she exploited Whitney's sexuality to sell her book. I was like, wow.
No.
You are reaching so hard, you're going to fall off your chair.
I thought she was thirsty when she was swinging on the stair railing. Yeah. But this is like a whole
or hosing her crotch off.
She's crossing a desert thirsty, middle of the noon sun.
Unreal.
There's vultures circling around her thirsty. That's how thirsty she is.
Yeah, she's like, I need a scene. So Heather gets pissed and she gets up to go leave and Whitney puts her hand on her to stop her and says, don't leave. And I'm like, yeah, because you want this all caught on film. And what she was worried, Heather was going to walk away, which she does. She walks outside and Whitney goes running after her. And you can even see Whitney looking right at the camera, like, are the cameras following me?
Come on!
Oh,
she's waving them on.
Totally, 100%.
Come on!
I was like, wow, you are so obvious.
Oh, I know.
Heather was telling her to get away from her, and Whitney screaming, you exploited my sexuality. You exploited my vagina. I was like, you are a fucking freak show, Whitney.
And now you know why I feel bad for Justin.
Heather tells her that she doesn't want to talk to her and tells a producer to get her away from me. Next week is the season finale. We are still in Bermuda, so this season, I guess, is going to end in Bermuda, or maybe we'll see them go home. I don't know. We see Heather get the infamous phone call that we saw at the beginning of the season, and we see Heather saying that she wants to confront whoever it is she's talking about because she is nobody's friend. And I'm assuming that's Monica, but now I'm feeling like maybe they're setting it up to seem like Monica, and it's going to be Meredith. I guess.
I simply wish I had a time machine that could just push me 6 days in advance, and we could just...
So we could see this. I know. And I can't wait to see the reunion, too. It's supposed to be really good. It's only 2 parts, though.
Huh.
Anyway, that is all we have for you guys today. For Salt Lake City, we are coming into the end. I'm kind of getting sad because right now this was the best show. We will be back tomorrow with our recap of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So we will talk to you guys then.
This is Sideshow Sean, signing out.
Bye.